Are Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston dating? I don't gossip monger. I really don't. I don't like that. Gossip's a sin. So I only mention the story in order not to gossip. There's all this gossip going around. Barack and Michelle are on the ropes. She didn't go to Carter's funeral. She didn't go to Trump's inauguration. Barack apparently knows Jennifer Aniston. I don't know. I don't really see any evidence of that. So all these gossip mongers here are suggesting Obama is going to be divorced and he's dating Rachel Green from Friends. I bring it all up. They're public figures, and I bring it up because I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Barack Obama's a Democrat, and the Democrats get a little loose with the rules, and they get a little weird with the sex stuff. So I guess it's not totally impossible. Maybe I'll be eating my words, but I don't buy it. I don't think Barack Obama is the sort of guy who gets divorced. I don't think a politician as calculating as Barack Obama, the former two-term president, at least until a few months ago, the de facto leader of the Democrat Party, I don't think he just gets divorced because his heart's not in it anymore. And, the heart wants what the heart wants. And I just want to be happy. And I just totally fell for someone. I think actually the reason these rumors are going around is because there are many people who cannot believe that there are people like Barack Obama who, for all of their flaws, for all of their faults and foibles and sins, are disciplined and place something beyond their personal giddiness at any particular moment or their emotional fulfillment or whatever. The Clintons didn't get divorced. You think the Obamas are going to get divorced? I don't know. The reason I'm talking about this story really has nothing to do with these individuals. And it's certainly not to gossip monger about the Obamas. It's to make a point about marriage and about discipline and about public life. It would be insane for the Obamas to get divorced, even if they don't like each other anymore. And again, there's no evidence that they don't like each other anymore. But even if they didn't, it would be completely insane. For what? They're not teenagers. They're not undisciplined people who are pulled away by their passions. I don't like the Obamas, but they actually, even the Clintons for this matter, and I certainly don't like the Clintons. There is something, however, to admire in their public discipline, in their respect for institutions, in their steadiness, in their extreme political ambition. Bill lacked some discipline in certain areas, but they would not get divorced. They just wouldn't do it. Even they made a vow to God, even if they don't believe in God. They made a promise to the public, even if they would lie to the public. They will not descend into such obvious selfishness. They would not. They care about their reputations too much. They care about their public standing too much. I kind of admire it. So I don't know. I could be eating my words. If I find out that Barack Obama is, going to have a second marriage to Rachel from Friends, I'll be eating my words. I just do not buy it. Now I want to tell you about Hillsdale College. Go to hillsdale.edu/Knowles. The new year ushers in an abundance of people picking and choosing their resolutions. We all get the opportunity to start the new year fresh, set new goals, tackle new and exciting challenges. So what are you going to do? This year, I encourage you to spend time learning something that you've not learned before, which is why I'm really excited that Hillsdale College, one of my very favorite institutions in the country, is offering more than 40 free online courses in the most important and enduring subjects. You can learn about C.S. Lewis, Genesis, the Constitution, the Roman Republic, the ancient church. I personally recommend Marxism, socialism, and communism, important topics to learn about these days. It is essential that we understand these ideas and historical figures thoroughly so that we can better comprehend their implications and prepare ourselves accordingly, so that we can understand what they were saying, what they were critiquing, how to fight the really bad parts of it. If you're ready to start off the new year with fresh knowledge and a renewed desire to learn, go to hillsdale.edu/Knowles. Can it be really? Yes. It's free. It's easy to get started. It's one of the most respected institutions of higher learning in the country. Hillsdale.edu/Knowles to start. Hillsdale.edu/Knowles.
Hi, Michael. This is Becca Howell. I'm hoping you can help me. I have an atheist friend who has gone from being completely able-bodied to being in a wheelchair with chronic regional pain syndrome in a matter of months. As someone who suffers from chronic pain, I have done my best to encourage her that she will find her, quote, new normal, that it just takes time. Despite this, she is severely depressed and is contemplating ending her life in the future. I feel like a failure. What advice would you tell my friend from a secular point of view to encourage her to continue living? And what can you say to me, because I feel like a failure if I can't convince her there's still life worth living, even if it's from a wheelchair? Thanks and God bless.
Okay, really sorry to hear that about your friend and what you're going through as well. That's really hard. You've asked me to make a reasoned argument that will convince your friend. Now, of course, I don't know that that is going to be the first way to reach someone. You know, it's kind of like C.S. Lewis writes, problem of pain and a grief observed. And they're both about the problem of evil and suffering. But one of them is written on a sunny day, purely rational. The other is written while C.S. Lewis is going through this really awful experience. And when you're really going through it, the reasoned arguments don't always penetrate. But here's the reasoned argument from let's say, a natural standpoint, not a religious or supernatural standpoint. From the natural standpoint, the first principle of practical reason, the first precept of the natural law, is that good is to be done, good is to be pursued, and evil is to be avoided. Because at the most basic level, we recognize that beings pursue their own good. Okay, so we can deduce this principle, which is the first principle of practical reason, that good is to be pursued and evil is to be avoided. From that, we can ask, what is one's own good? Killing oneself would seem on its face to be contrary to one's own good. But you might say, well, I'm depressed, or I'm in pain, or so therefore maybe it's for my own good that I end my life. Again, I don't think that really makes it up to muster, because you're, by killing yourself, you've committed the ultimate evil against yourself. But even furthermore, you have engaged in further evils. You have divided the self against the self. But a human being is a unified, integral whole. So by making yourself the persecutor of yourself, by making yourself the victim of yourself, you have divided the human person. That would be contrary to the good. You would be engaging in an act of cowardice. You would not be living up to the virtue of courage, because you would be throwing in the towel. You would be refusing to face hardship head on and with dignity and with courage. So that would be contrary to the good as well. It is contrary to justice. It is contrary. You can reason from the first principle of practical reason, from the first precept of the natural law, all the way to why you shouldn't kill yourself. And there's no real argument against it. However, I don't know how that's going to work, because your friend is really upset and depressed and despairing and is in constant pain. So what I would also say is just, hey, you're my friend and I love you and it would hurt me. This also ties into a reasonable argument, which is that man is the political animal. So when you kill yourself, you are absconding from your social duties. We have duties one to another, to our families, to our communities. And so when you kill yourself, you are depriving the community of your service. You're pulling something away from the community. So you could say that in a really personal way. Just say, like, you're my friend and I love you, and it would really pain me if you did that. That's the more personal touch that might reach, but the reasonable arguments are there. There's every argument for your friend to continue living and no argument for your friend to end her life. That was a good clip. Hey, that was a good clip.